the directors that we're really in business with, I'll get behind any idea that they have, you know? I mean, I'll just, I kind of won't question, the desirability of that idea. I'll work at trying to make it the best version of that idea possible. I think the thing that is important to remember is that the whole process of getting a movie, you know, up and running, it's so organic. It's like a living, breathing organism, and a director can't be protected from the money people. It's all like, you know, it's all interwoven, and they have to be able to defend, you know, their ideas from a creative and financial point of view all the time, because they have incredible resonance with each other. You can't just take one away from the other. And if a director tells me that's what he or she thinks, then they're not the right director for me, because I don't know how to do that. You know, when we were making I'm Not There, you know, we were in a constant situation of trying to figure out how to make a movie like that with the money that we had, and Todd had to be fully engaged in that discussion at all times. Also, at the end of the day, money has a personality as much as anything else, and there's some, you know, some money has a very strong personality, and it's more difficult to deal with than others. Look, private investors have totally changed the face. Equity investment has changed the face of independent film. You know, some of them want to be real creative producers in return, and they expect to be listened to. And they want to give their opinions on the script, and they want to give their opinions on the cast. They want to look at dailies with you. They want to come to the set and hang out with Cate Blanchett. I mean, some of them, and some of them, they want all that, but it's okay. You know, they're like, they actually, you know, they're decent enough guys. And actually, you know, they are almost always guys, not exclusively, but almost. Then there's guys like Bill Pohlad, who financed Brokeback Mountain and Into the Wild. And I think his money is largely family money, but nobody who's met him would deny that he has a wonderful film sensibility, and when he decides to get behind a movie, it's fantastic. I mean, he's really like, he's as much a film scholar as anybody I've ever met. You know, you also can say, when you get right down to it, well, why shouldn't they have, it's their money, why shouldn't they have an opinion? You know, like, why, you know, why are, you know, what right do you have, you know, well, what right do you have, Mr. or Mrs. Director, to think that their opinions are worth nothing? It's the same thing with a distributor, honestly. I mean, that process, you know, when a distributor becomes involved in a movie, before it's over, can be very hair-raising, because there's a pull now on the film from another direction, from the direction of the person who wants to market it and get it into the theaters and get people into the theaters. You know, and I know you all know, I'm sure, about some of the tensions we had on I'm Not There with the Weinstein Co. And that's what it was all about. Like, you know, Todd is trying to make the film that he feels the best about, and the Weinstein Co. was trying to make sure there was a film that they could really market. Honestly, then you have to make something that has a kind of uniqueness to it that, you know, because you could, I mean, those movies do happen. The other thing you can do that you can't do in the States is you can take advantage of all kinds of subsidies and you know, soft monies and things like that. We don't get that. Usually, if it's a first-time director, usually the thing that seems to be the most precious is time. So we start out then with like, all right, we have to preserve against all costs, you know, a 30-day shooting schedule or a 25-day shooting schedule or a 40-day shooting schedule, whatever it is, and kind of back out of that. You know, sometimes it's just about figuring out, like, there's, you know, that there's one or two set pieces that you have to be able to finance in order to sell the world that you're trying to, you that you're trying to inhabit. The time is a big thing. Then it just becomes about like, how little of everything else can you get away with. When we were making Far From Heaven, which we made for $13 million, and Todd really wanted a big Circean, expansive feel, and he would walk around going like, so here she's at the train station, and the line producer would be behind him pushing his hands together. Like, a movie like that is totally not going to work if it feels small, so you have to constantly strike the balance of, how do you get those expansive shots? Well, you just choose the few that you're going to put everything behind so that you can, afford everything else.